Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. Welcome to this quick lesson on creating easy, fast fingerstyle runs using open strings. You hear all these flashy fingerstyle runs and you go, gosh, what are these guys doing? I remember I would listen to things by Phil Keaggy and I would go, oh, what is he doing? And all this flurry of notes, what's happening there? Well, I'm going to show you an easy way to create that sort of a fast fingerstyle run. Let me play a little bit for you and I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about. All right, so in that little kind of opening song that we did there, all of these quick little runs. Oh, what is all that? It's all these quick, flashy, flourishy notes. It's not as hard as you would think. So let me just kind of talk you through what I'm doing there. Basically, in this particular piece, I'm in the key of D. So you got to think, what is sharped or flatted in the key of D? All of my theory guys, well, you have F sharps and you have C sharps in the key of D. So if I was to play a D scale, it would be D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp with our second fret there, and then D. And then with that F sharp being at their fourth fret there. Now, of course, it doesn't just stop there, it just keeps going. So you got to keeps going there, and I'm in drop D tuning there. So I end up with this collection of notes on each string that are in the key of D. Like on this fourth string, I have a D, E, and an F sharp. So we're going to talk about each string as a set. So if I want to create these little flourishy little runs, an easy way to do that, flipping off of these open strings, is to think of the string as just a set of notes in that key that is on that string. So if I just look at that D, the fourth string, what notes in our scale are on that string? Well, it's a D, E, and an F sharp. So I can hammer on. These are going to be using hammer-ons and pull-offs. You can get a lot of speed in your sound by flipping off on these hammer-ons and pull-offs when you can't actually pick that fast or play that fast. You can get a lot faster by just flipping on and off with your hammer-ons and pull-offs. So if I just do a hammer-on, I'm ascending through that, the D, E, F sharp, then that's one way I can combine these notes. Well, another way that I can combine these notes is I can go in reverse. So I hammer on going up, I go pull off going down. Okay, so that's two ways I can do it. Okay, so I've got a little combination there. What else can I do? Well, I can do maybe starting on the first finger or the first fretted note, because I'm using the open strings, first fretted note, which in this case is on the second fret there, going up to the F sharp and then back to the fretted note and then back down. So now I have not a three-note combination like the other ones were. This is a three-note combination. And down. Now I'm doing a four-note combination. Okay? Now I can do these little concepts on every string. So like on the let's do it maybe on the B string. Okay, well I'm still in the key of D, so what notes in the key of D are on that second string? B, C sharp, D. Well, I can still go hammer on up to the note and pull off, and then do my little four-note pattern from the middle note, and I'm just plucking the first one. And with a little bit of practice and you're pulling off and hammering on, you can get that bad boy going pretty fast. On the G string, I could do G, A. I could do just those two, or if I wanted to include that high B, I can do that too. What if I did the first string? That would be E, F sharp, and G. So do you see the concept? I'm just taking the notes that are in the scale, okay? I'm just taking the notes that are in the scale on each string, and I'm flipping around on them, okay? So what did we do? We ascend. I can do it on the A string. I ascended, I descended, I started in the middle, up, and then back down. I can start maybe on the last one and then go. So play the upper one, and then I do my middle one and the flip off. That turns into be a 5-note pattern. What if I do that on the other strings? Now, I can start chaining these things together. Well, I can play maybe just the scale, hammer-ons. Okay, and down in pull-offs, okay. What if I started doing these little up and down patterns? What if I went from one string and went to the next string beneath it? Do you see what I'm doing there? And then I just play the next string. Okay. What if I did descending and did the opposite of that? So I have a descend, and I descend to the next highest note on the string beneath it. What if I did? What are some other ones you can do? Well, I can maybe go up, if I'm on the D, B string, B, C sharp, D, I could maybe go up to the, what would be a 4th note on that string. Starting on the middle of that, go up to the upper note, back, pull off, and then to the open string. So I end up with a 5-note pattern there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right. So you think, oh my goodness, there's a million combinations. No, there's really not. There's only about like 4 or 5. We have the ascending. We have the descending. We have the start on the second note and go up and down. We can start on the 3rd note and then go back to the 2nd note. We can go on the 3rd note and go up to the 4th note. And that's really about all. Now, I can combine them with some other strings and maybe go where I go, okay, that was one of the ones we just talked about, and then I just resolve it to the next string down. Okay, so I'm in drop D. All right, so that's basically the idea. So it's not a million different things. It's just I'm taking the scale tones and I'm flipping off of them in about, 4 or 5 different ways, okay? But I start chaining these together. I start adding them together, flipping off of them different ways. And next thing you know, I got this flourishy little run. Let me play my little tune for you again. What was that? What was that? Well, I'm on basically a kind of an A or A7th sort of a chord, and I'm going to start on the A, still in the key of D. I'm going to start on the A, and I'm just going to go through my song, my notes. What if I flip around on them a few more times? Now, here's the trick. You got to end on a chord tone. So if I'm on an A, I can end on a C sharp, you know, or maybe an E, or maybe even a high A. And then suddenly it sounds like I've got this great lick in A. It's just a D scale, but I'm doing this flipping on and off of the... Okay, let me play through my song again, and we'll see if we can find some other spots for them. Okay, so if I wanted to extend that out, I'm going to, on my A suspended there again, I'm going to go... So that little pattern there is... Oh, now I got a little 7-note combination. That's where I go hammer on, and on the next string I go open, the first note on that string, back open, and then back on my original string. Okay, so that's the full pattern of that. Then I do it on the next string. Now on the next string. Yeah, except I have the open string there, so it's going to sound a little funny. I just have to remember it's not always the same fingering because I have to stay in the key. But you throw enough of those together, and whoa, wow, you sound like you're Phil Keaggy. As long as you catch the dismount and end on the right notes there, you've got a cool little pattern that you can use. All right, so let me get back into standard tuning. So I've done it for you in the key of D. Let's put it in some other keys. Now this little open string run trick works great in, of course, open keys that utilize a lot of open strings. So let me just say that. Like I couldn't go wrong in the key of D because every open string is a note that's in the D scale. Does that make sense? So like an E, well, that's in the D scale. A, that's in the D scale. D, that's in the D scale. G, B, E, they're all in the D scale. So I can flip off to these open strings all day long in the key of D and it's going to work. Well, let's go to, let's say, the key of C. All right, so now I'm in C. Well, in C, it's even easier. We don't even have any sharps or flats to worry about. Okay, so let's just do the same concept. I'm just going to do the notes in the key of C in flipping off these open strings. Okay, so I have, if I continue my C scale down, okay, well, on this one, low 6th string, I would have E, F, and G. That would be the notes in the C scale. I could do there. On the 4th string, or excuse me, 5th string, I would do A, B, and C. 4th string, D, E, and F. 3rd string, G, A, maybe G, A, B. 2nd string, B, C, D, E, F, G. So do you see, I just did a C scale. And then all the way down as far as I can go. So I'm in the key of C. And then I do the same little tricks I was doing before. Hammer on up, down. I can start on the first note, go up, back down. I can go, what's the 4th one? I do the upper one, then go back to the middle one and back and forth. Okay, all of these we just did in the key of D. What else could I do? Well, I could go up to the next note. That one's a big stretch there because I got whole steps in between. Okay, on the 5th string, I got A, B, and C to play with. So the first really key to learning, flipping around on these is just to do the scale in hammer-ons and pull-offs. Okay, and then it's kind of fun to hang on to one of the notes if you've got a free finger to give some overlap there, maybe something like that. So I started to hang on to some of the notes as I was going up. Okay, and therefore I kind of created a little chord there. And so that makes it sound a little bit more mystical, I want to say, but that's not the right word. It sounds a little bit more, everything's overlapping, a little bit more difficult to define. Oh, what was all that? Notes in the key of C, flipping off open strings. Am I thinking about all that? No. I can't think that fast. I'm doing open string little runs. As long as I catch the dismount. Let's say I'm going to go and I'm going to do a run in D minor. Okay, well, I may start on a D and I may end on a D minor chord tone. Let's say an F. Hey, that convinced you that it was a D minor lick. Hey, let me do a lick over a G7, okay? I'm going to start on the G, and I'm going to end on, let's say, this high G here. Hey, I played exactly the same thing. I just ended on a G and started on a G. You didn't even catch the difference. Hey, let's do a lick in A minor. A minor's in the key of C. It's the relative minor in the key of C. So I can do all the same stuff again. Here, I'm going to do a lick at A minor. You ready? I'm going to start on an A and then end on a chord tone in A minor. Sounded like a beautiful A minor lick. It was the same notes we just played. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. But you got to catch the dismount. What if you can kind of extrapolate this even further. What if I really wanted to make it sound in A minor? So I slipped in maybe a little G sharp diminished right before that A minor. Hey, that really sounded like I knew what I was doing. Okay, all I'm doing is flipping around in the key of C. So what are some licks you can do with that? Well, if I was doing a little simple lick, I'll write this out in a PDF and I'll put it in the link below. So the little lick from a G7 to a C maybe would be something like that. If I wanted to fancy that up, I could flip it or just flip them around a little bit more. Here's the G7 going to a C. So here's an expanded lick. So I just took it and I just flipped around a little bit more on it. What if I just expanded that out crazy? Sure, you can. Okay, let's go to a G7. What was all that? It was the same thing. Okay, so that's in C. Works in C, A minor. What if I did, let's switch keys. Let's go to the key of G. Well, you gotta think, same concept. The key of G, I've got one sharp, an F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Okay, so now I'm in the key of G. So first part of it is learn the scale doing hammer-ons and pull-offs. As low as you can go and then as high as you can go. Okay. Okay, so now, if you're not used to doing hammer-ons and pull-offs, that's going to take a little bit of a technique hurdle. So you may have to just kind of piddle with that for a while. All I'm doing is I'm just wobbling around on those notes in the key of G. Okay, I'm just wobbling around the key of G. Okay, so we can do some licks out of that. What if we did a D seventh to a G? Well, maybe I could do... Okay. What was all that? Oh, sounds great. It's the key of G. And I'm just going up the scale tones. Hey, want to make it sound a little bit more impressive? Let's go up. And then do our little middle one back. So I end up with a lick like this. Okay. Let me show you one more key. We already did it in the key of D, but let me now that I'm kind of in normal tuning and not in drop D tuning, let me just kind of show you D. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So the first part is doing the scale ascending, hammer-ons, and descending pull-offs, and then you start practicing the combinations. I mean, it's just... And then maybe the middle one. Maybe the upper one to the middle one. And maybe, what was that 7-note one we did a little bit earlier? We ascend on one and then do a little back and forth on the adjacent string and then back down. D, A, B, C sharp, D, E, D, C sharp. So just going back and forth. And then I do it on the next string set. And then I do it on the next string set. You start chiming these, start spinning these things together. Next thing you know, you've got a bunch of cool licks that we can use. Now, if you combine that idea with, I saw some of you mentioned the 3-note on a string scale concept. So in 30 seconds, let me just explain that concept that took me 3 months to learn. Okay? I remember a guy, what was his name? I forget. He was a guitarist, great guitarist in San Antonio. We were in college in class together, and he said, yeah, you do 3 notes on a string. And I'm sure there was more to the concept, but all I heard was 3 notes on a string. So if I'm in the key of, let's go back to C. Okay, but I'm supposed to hammer, I'm going to not use open string. So I can use the open string when I'm down here in the open string, but if I want to go up the neck, I can't use the open strings anymore. So I'm going to do a, let's do a C scale. But I'm going to do 3 notes per string. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So slowly, as I go through this, I'm going up on the neck. Do you see what I did? It's just a C major scale. I just did 3 notes on a string. Hence the name. Back down. And I can keep going. Okay? And then you can do the same little tricks. What was all that? 3 notes on a string, baby, in the key of C, starting on an F, F, G, A. Sounds tremendous. Tremendous and fast and stuff like that. Hammer-ons and pull-offs and scale tones. That's the key with all of that. Okay, so that's basically the idea. And apply. You can apply that. Let me just do some stuff up in the neck. You can see. So let's say I'm going to be in the key of C. I'll be in this key of C. Just noodle around the key of C. So I can do the open string when I'm down there. But sometimes I'm not down there, so I have to open up my hand and do my 3-note on a string one. Those are the notes, and then I'm just hammering them on. Catch the dismount and go to the chord that you're looking for, and you got a quick, easy way to do a flashy, flourishy run with that sort of stuff. Now, I say easy. It's not easy. It took me, 3 months to learn the 3-note on a string scales. Okay, there's different shapes that go along with each one of them. So, Steve, there's a million of them. No, there's 7. There's 7 notes in the scale. So there's only 7 different positions you need to learn, but there's a lot of notes in each position, so it's tricky. But that's really, I wish I could say I do a whole lot more than that. I do a couple other things than that, but that's mainly what I'm doing. If you hear me doing anything flashy, I'm just not that fast of a thinker. Phil Kagi may be, but I'm not. And so I figure out whatever key we're in, and I start flipping around on my single notes, and we go from there. All right, now, we did have a couple of questions, so if we could go back, and let me see if I can grab some of those questions that we had. Okay, Steve Vegas is asking, Steve, are you using alternate thumb picking, forefinger picking? No. What I was doing on this hand is really whatever you need to do. I was currently there probably just doing... Well, I guess I was using kind of thumb and middle. Now, it sounds much faster than I'm actually playing. You'll notice I'm not picking that much. A lot of it, most of it, 3 times of it, is the hammer-ons and pull-offs. Hey, I found this lick this morning. If I'm an an A minor, and I want to do an E, kind of an E, maybe an E7 flat 9. Ooh, what was that? What a wild sounding lick. What am I doing? An open string to E chord tones, E, G sharp, B. Open string, which happens to be an A, then I'm going to a D. Now I'm kind of thinking over a flat 9, so I'm going to go to the F. Hey, that's 1 and 4. Open, 1, 4, open, 1, 4. Hey, it's 1 and 4 up a fret. And about this time, I start going in my head, hey, I wonder if it'll work on the next one. Open D to a G sharp and a B. Do you see what I'm doing? 1 and 4 at the 4th position, 1 and 4 at the 5th position, 1 and 4 at the 6th position. Hey, 1 and 4 at the 7th position. That's worked so far. Okay, now it does not work on the 2nd string because remember the 2nd string is tuned differently, or actually it's the 3rd string that's tuned differently. So it affects so I have to go up another half step to the 9th fret to go back to my G sharp and my B. Sorry. And by then I'm up here at the 10th fret on the 1st string, and I can resolve down to that E. I still need to practice this lick up. But what a flashy little way to do that. So what am I doing on that, Steve? I'm just kind of mainly using thumb and maybe my middle finger on that, or even just only thumb. And the rest of it is flat, is flipping off and on with my hammer-ons and pull-offs. John is asking, do I need to end on the minor 3rd for the A minor flat 7th for the dominant 7th? Or do I need to end on the minor 3rd for the A minor? Okay, let's just take that part of the question. You need to end on a chord tone of which the minor 3rd is a chord tone. Now, there are others. I could end on the, let's say the fifth. Okay, so if I'm in A, if I'm in C in relative major, or relative minor is A minor. So I'm thinking in the key of C. I'm sort of starting on an A and I'm going to end on an A. So that works. Throw a little chord in there, convinces everybody that's what you meant to do. What if I ended on the E? No problem. Okay. What if I ended on the G, which is the flatted seventh of that dominant seventh chord? A little bit more of a less defined sound. I could end on the C. Okay, so you have to end on the chord tone. That's kind of the game that we're playing. A chord tone helps. If you don't end on a chord tone, it doesn't quite catch the dismount on it. And then he goes, if I'm using it on a dominant seventh chord, let's say maybe in a G7, if I was in the key of C, could I end on the flatted seventh? Well, of course, that's a chord tone. So I could end on the 1, the 3, the 5, or the flatted seventh. If this is my key, so if I'm doing maybe a G7, let me just get you there. That works, ending on the flatted seventh, or I can end on the octave, on the G. Other little open string tricks that you can do. I did this in the song I did in Dadgat, okay? You could go, let's say I'm thinking in E minor. The relative major of that is G major with F sharp, so I'm thinking of a, G major scale with an F sharp. Now, what if I did a G major pentatonic? Well, what would that be? What if I put open strings before all of that? Okay, do you see what I did there? Here's the form. And I'm going to add an open string in front of it and hammer onto that. Since each open string is already in the key of G, it works. And I can still do all of my tricks. Sounds impressive. What if I went up to the next pentatonic form? In the key of G would be 2 4 2 4 2 4 1 4 1 4 1 3. What if I did my same trick with the open string? Open, then I do the notes of the pentatonic form. Open, notes of the pentatonic form. Open, notes of the pentatonic form. There you go. All right, that's the idea. So take it, run with it. I'm going to put a PDF down in the links below, and you'll be able to see some of the examples that I did. Keep up the great work in your learning. Learn all you can. We'll see you next time.